Bridges Live. Welcome to another show. And of course, in Bridges Live, I always like to have my guest on. If I don't have a guest on, it's normally just me talking to you, hopefully about mental health, mental spirituality, and moving in the right direction for our communities to be a stronger, powerful nation. With that, I have Robyn with me. And Robyn, please introduce yourself to Bridges Live. And thank you for coming on.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me. So I am Robyn Christian, founder and CEO of Anetrice House Incorporated.
So, everyone's like, okay, Paul's got someone else who's doing some amazing things on, so let's just get to it. Anetrice House, you started it. Let's tell people about Anetrice House because it's important because you have that beautiful little girl and mother reading behind you. That's it. I love that. That says a lot. And you can see my background when it comes to children, right?
Mhm.
We if we don't think about the living causes of what we're going to leave behind, then we leave nothing.
Absolutely.
So why, how come? What is Anetrice House?
Anetrice House comes out of me being a foster parent for 7 years.
Okay.
I was a foster mom for 7 years with a program called Hearts and Homes, and they had a program called The Mama. And I only fostered mothers and babies.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a very interesting program, and I learned a lot, not just about them, but about myself,
Uh-oh.
having them in my home and my two children at the same time. So it was really interesting. But what I did figure out was no matter what walk of life they came from, no matter what race or creed they may have been, they still did not have the basic foundation in life or the support to be successful once they turned 21. And they most of the time when you throw a child in the midst of all your childhood drama, they're set back even further. So they need more time past 21 to get established mentally, psychologically, economically, to be able to move forward and be a better parent.
So you saw this, you understood this, and yet when you explain this to the others, they just seem to don't get it, and that puzzles me because I have had my mother has had foster children. My wife's mother has raised, I think, eight herself. When it comes to our community, we tend to bring a lot more foster kids in the Black community than we do in other communities, and that's because we understand about being let go and not being taken care of. We understand that personally. So
Mhm.
why is it so difficult to explain that to people? We need support to help these kids thrive and not die.
Um, I can speak from experience on so I've had the privilege of having not just white girls, but Hispanic girls in my home.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they were all, I don't want to say thrown away, but their families turned their backs on them only because they had an African American baby daddy.
Mm. Wow.
So they came, and one parent actually told me to my face that she could have stayed home if she hadn't ruined his family's lineage with bringing this little Black baby into his family. Oh, all I could do was respect that, but it made his daughter's life hard and unnecessarily, all because of who she chose to have sex with and have a baby by. That's harsh.
When people hear the show and stuff, and I go through three things, and I'm sorry if I didn't repeat it. So thank you for coming on Bridges Live. It's about information, understanding, and action. Can you help people understand? Can you inform people why and how often you come across someone being released because of their own personal indifferences? Because when we come to foster children, you're being thrown out of a place to be accepted into another place. But I threw you out because, like you said, because your baby's daddy was this. Because you did this, it's time for you to leave my house. It's it's
Right.
it's almost, to me, as a service, it almost seems unreal, but it's so real. But because we have so many children, so many people that's been discarded.
Right. So your question is how does that happen?
Yeah. How can you explain to people that not that that how does it happen, that it's happening in such an abundance?
It's happening more than it's being reported.
Yes. Okay.
Um, so they're getting double trauma. They're getting trauma from um, their families, but they're also getting trauma from turning 21 and not having a plan. And I've had girls actually removed from my home on their 21st birthday with their belongings and their child and taken to a shelter because there was no plan on where she was going to go or what was going to happen to her. And it happens because the social workers are so overwhelmed.
Yeah,
they are so overwhelmed. And as a foster parent, I found myself advocating for a lot of my girls, especially girls that I got at a late age, like 19. When you're already 19 years old and there's nothing that has started, you already can kind of tell that by her 21st birthday, if we don't react quickly, she is going to be thrown to the wolves. And if there's no other assistance for her once she turns 21, there's no other housing program like that, foster care program for her.
Mm-hmm.
And if she doesn't have any job skills or training or education, then we're looking at another situation where she's going to be just on social services.
And what's the other situation they all go into? We know it. It's prison, jail.
Yeah. Yes.
We know exactly where they're going to go. We know they go into human trafficking. We know they go into jail. We know exactly where they're going. This is no hidden secret. So that's what bothers me when several people talk about personal responsibility. I think it's also a human responsibility to take care of others when you have the ability to take care of others.
Right, because Mr. Dyer, how can they say personal responsibility if you've never been given the skills to survive? You don't even have that. You just had a baby, or you're just in the system. Nobody's instilling anything in you for you to be able to sustain yourself.
Right.
You're just growing up.
How long have you been doing this?
It seems like forever. But Anetrice House has only been around since 2016, but I have been doing this work for 12 years.
All my shows mean so much to me because it's about service to humanity. Mm-hmm. There is no other agenda, whether it's to get people out to vote, whether it's to get people a second chance when they come out of prison, whether there is to get them to stop beating each other on domestic violence, whether it's to gain mental health and understanding. This is all part of that.
Yes.
There is no separation between none of this.
Mm-mm.
And yet it's still a battle to get people to open up their homes because they refuse to open up their hearts.
That is so true. And I've been trying to recruit people for foster care, and it is tasking because they do not want them, is what they call it. I don't want them in my home. Who is them?
Yeah, who's
them? Could be you. Wow. Anything could happen. Any tragedy could occur in your life growing up, and you could have been them.
Right.
So why not just give them a chance? And they really think that they don't want anything out of life. That's not true. They're not given a chance because of a trauma. And that trauma did that trauma. An adult did this. This was an adult decision that put them in this situation.
Right.
So why not give them the opportunity to turn that around? Because they have a lot inside of them, but they don't trust adults. And once you get that relationship with them, mm-hmm. you have a child for life. My foster girls still come here. They still come around. Their kids call me grandma. So, these are relationships I'll always have because these grandkids of mine will continue to have kids, and then their kids will know me. So these are relationships that I continue to foster, even though they're not in my home.
You know, when you sit back in the end of your days or the end of your day and you like, and you've been talking to this child, human adult, agency, this, working with, you say, why is this so hard? And it seems to beg the question in a lot of different ways. Have we forgotten about the humanity of living? And if we have collectively forgotten collectively, so a
Mhm.
lot of times people think it's about like I do my thing, I do my thing, I do my thing, I give here, I give there. No, you're missing it. I'm talking
Yes.
about the collective
Mhm.
humanity of service. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about what one person does. I'm talking about how come we are not doing it.
Mhm. And this is not just as Black people. This
No,
is just as a people.
a person, a human being.
Mhm.
We do not value life.
We do not.
You can't, and there's you cannot argue that we do. And the reason why
Mhm.
you can't argue that we don't cherish life
Right.
is because we keep killing each other. We keep subjecting ourselves to drug abuse, violence, and dehumanizing, whether we want to vote for it or whether we want to go to school for it. We
Mhm.
are not embracing humanity. And this is
Right.
why we have these kids.
This is why we have these kids, and so many of these children want to be somebody. They just need to find that one adult that they can trust,
Mm-hmm.
and that one adult that doesn't mind what they call keeping it 100 with them. Because once they realize that you're gonna keep it 100 with them, they'll soar because they believe what you're telling them is in their best interest.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that they can always come to you, whether the chips are up or down, and say, Miss Robyn, I messed up. Because I get them calls too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we talked about this and
Yeah.
I did this, but
Yeah.
I did it another way and I messed up. Okay, well, you messed up. So fix it.
Yeah, we're good
This
with
is a
that.
mistake. You don't have to, this is not something that you just have to bow out on. You can fix it. Because no matter what, you have another life. And that's what I always teach my girls. You always have a life that you are responsible for. And that life is watching you. So you have to fix yourself from the inside out, forgive your parents for whatever that shortcoming was that put you in that situation, and keep it moving because you don't want that child to come along and say that you did this, this, and this, when all you had to do was go to therapy and get your life straight.
Do a lot of your kids, a lot of the girls you have and you have met, and throughout the people you talk to, do they get mental health therapy, or is there not
It might
enough therapists?
be a story.
Okay,
It's not an option.
okay.
Because how do you ask somebody to fix themselves?
Mm-hmm.
So it's mandatory. And they fight. Some of them fight me in the beginning. I don't like therapists. I don't want to tell nobody my business. Yeah, I tell somebody something.
you better talk to somebody.
You gotta tell somebody something. You can tell me. I'm not a therapist. We might be able to work some things out, but there's some things that you're not going to feel comfortable telling me because you have to see me every day.
Right.
But talk to that person who's getting paid, and let's see it together. And I've done that. Let them work with the therapist, and then on the backside, I'll come in during their meetings, and they'll say, "Well, I need you. Can you help her do this and this?" Yeah, absolutely. And let them work out them secrets that you're trying to keep from me.
Mm-hmm.
And let's work this work. But I don't care how it gets done, as long as it gets done.
You work with only girls, but you see boys too, but majority is young women, right?
Yes, the boys that I see are the fathers of my girls'
Okay.
children. And all these young men are not bad. Actually, some of them could be better fathers than the mothers. So
I don't believe. First of all, I'll give you my little short belief, and bear with me. I don't believe people are born in sin and in a negative state. I don't believe that. I believe people are constructed and developed into an environment they had no choice. And so in that survival mode, a lot of cognitive abilities are not available to develop because I'm just trying to survive.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct.
So with these young women, these young men, I don't think they're bad. You like you said in the beginning, they just was never taught.
They were never taught.
And that's on us as adults. I'm
It is.
54. I'm 54. It's on us.
It is. It is. You know, Mr. Dyer, when I look back at how I was raised, and then the generations that came behind me or ahead of me, I try to figure out where did the ball get dropped? Because we had Big Mama, you know, but when we had people we could turn to, if your mama wasn't doing right, you could always go to Big Mama house. But when Big Mama ended up being my age,
right.
That's a problem.
It's a problem.
Because she's still trying to get her life.
Right.
So she's not really trying to settle in and teach this child right from wrong and, you know, sit down, do colors and homework. You know, that's a whole different aspect of being a parent that we're not trying to do anymore. So to ask somebody in my age group to now take on a 5, 6, 7-year-old, man, that's a lot. And then you have teenagers that have no direction.
Right.
So according to the new numbers that have come out for during this pandemic, the age group that's getting pregnant now is 12 to 15.
I knew you were going to hit me with this. I knew you were going to hit me with a number. I knew. I just knew this. You were going to hit me with a number.
That breaks my heart. And I'm like, okay, they're in a pandemic. They're home. They have really nowhere to go. Okay, so nobody's home. I mean, what's really going on?
So what? Yes. Great question. What did you come up with? Because something that's not fitting. Everyone is not in the street. There's no one out. There's no one at work. There is no one anywhere except for in a building, and 12 to 15-year-old people are getting pregnant. What's going on?
I think it's bigger than they are just having sex. I think some of this is forced sex.
Uh-huh.
I think some of this is molestation.
I think some of this is molestation, sex trafficking.
Yes.
That's what I think.
I do. Because 12, 15, you're in a pandemic, you're not even going to school. You're at home.
Right.
You know, we can't even blame the little boy down the street.
Nope.
You know, somebody's supposed to be there doing something. You know, so everybody's working from home. So what's really going on? Unless you're you know, doctor or police officer or something, but the kids are not being supervised. I get that, but I think this is bigger than that.
So 12 to 15 is the age. What's the amount of people? Give me the population. How many girls are, what's that number? Do you have that number? I know you have the age group. Do you have the?
Yeah. No, because the number was not, it's a 2020 number from the second quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like first quarter what we got since pandemic, March of last year.
Is it broken down also in economic graphics, anything like that you've seen?
It is.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
So it's always it's always in the populations where
we have to hear it.
We always in the struggle.
Yeah.
It's always in that population, unfortunately. And that just drives me, that drives me crazy. But
because, I know why it drives you crazy, because we know that there's another type of people that go, see, there they go.
Right.
We know.
I'm like,
Yep. And we know that there's people out there that go, we figured, there they go. That's why they're like that.
Yes, them.
Yeah, that's why.
They're them people.
We have to laugh, but it's not a funny thing because
It's not.
it's said to certain types of people all the time.
It is.
There they go.
There they go.
They took that $1,200 stimulus check and now they're pregnant.
Like that helps up. That has something to do with it.
But right. This is what is
Right.
argued in Congress. That's why we
Right.
didn't want to give them the money because they're just going to get pregnant. I don't know how that.
They just going to go and blow it on 40s and
Right.
get high.
And get right.
That's all they're going to do.
We're doing this so many years, and now it comes to the understanding and action. How can we as people help, and how can we as people help you? Because I think people are just so selfish enough, they rather give money than time, and the people who can give time choose to only give a little bit, and then the rest of them, they just don't care.
And unfortunately, that's the way it's categorized, and we just have to take it as it comes. I mean, we can't. But this has been going on a long time.
Right.
This is not something that happened overnight. So people know what it is, and they just turn a blind eye to it because that's what they want to do, or that's how they sleep at night. I can't sleep that way.
No.
Because I can't sleep knowing that some little girl is out here being molested, or she's out here with a baby, and she's just out here in these streets under the bridge down the 10th road. I mean, they're in so many bad places with so many bad things happening to them in those environments. But for those who care and want to do something, there are some great nonprofits out here. Not the big names.
No, the community.
That you look up and you find them who are doing some dynamic work, who would love to have people come in and volunteer to help them. Because even though I may have my own program, I'll go and help another program in a minute. It's not enough. It's just not enough of us to go around to help. So we help each other. Mm-hmm. Because things come up, like, especially during this pandemic, there's a lot of girls that we getting calls for. We got more calls than we have spaces to put them. And that's the sad part. And it's like, what do you do? What do you do when foster care is calling you saying, I got a girl that's 12 and pregnant? Oh my God.
Yeah.
She had to leave her house for her own safety. At 12? So if they want to do it that way, find a place to volunteer. And if you want to help pay, because there's always something needed, even if it's Pampers. You'd be surprised the amount of programs that need Pampers and milk and formulas and clothing for these babies and these young women that's coming off the street, because a lot of them are coming with nothing.
Right. So
they can donate to a program. Our website has all our information on it, anetricehouse.org. And they can donate straight through our program, because we'll end up sharing. If we have something, and I know during the pandemic, we did that a lot. Some ran out of Pampers. You got Pampers? We'll send our extra Pampers over there. We'll put our money together, buy some. Whatever we had to do to help these young women make it through. Because what we gonna say? Oh, she don't have no Pampers, so they can't get changed.
Yeah. So what? So what do you want me to do about that?
Right. So you have to make it work. And actually, what you end up being, you are the mother to these generations. And we're going back, and that thinking always takes me back to slavery times. We're going back to being the mother to all races, creeds, and nationalities again.
Yeah, we're being mothers to the community.
Again. So, I mean, this is just who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We have embraced it.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with it.
I love what I do.
Hey, I'm okay with it.
I love my girls. Yeah. I do. I love them, and I fight with them constantly. You're gonna do right if it's the last breath you take. As long as you are a mother to this child, we're going to get it straight. We're going to do this work.
Have you ever reached out to any, and I always call people out, and I'm okay with that. Have you reached out to different fraternal orders and churches that just did not give you help?
We have not reached out to any fraternities, but I have reached out to my church, and my church will help. I'm with Destiny Christian Church.
Okay.
My bishop is James Nelson Jr., and there's nothing I can't go to my church for.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's nothing I can't go to my church for. But everybody doesn't have that.
Right.
No, everybody doesn't have that. And I even got some, I only have, I also have grandmas, that they're not grandmothers to these kids biologically, but they know my program, or they've had girls that's come through my program, and they're like, you need me to come over and keep the kids while the girls do school, anything. So they'll just drop in.
Because your program, Anetrice House, is in Baltimore. Let me get that clear.
We're in Baltimore.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
We're in Baltimore City. So we are, we're here. We're looking to expand because we need to.
And when you mean expansion, what do you mean? Like a bigger building, bigger space? What do you look at? We
need apartment buildings.
Okay.
We do. We need apartment housing because right now my home has been licensed for the program, and that's been fine for a while when we transitioned from from the foster care program into Anetrice House. But now we cannot hold the numbers that we're getting.
If we went to the city and we know how many empty apartment buildings there are in Baltimore, we know it. We drive by it. We see it. We call on it, and you know what they tell us? We can't have that building. You're like, no, but you're not doing anything with the building. Well, we will. Well, no, it's been vacant since Freddie Gray. So can we have the building? I can get it fixed up. I can get it. No, the answer is no.
No. So here's the thing that I've run into, because I've checked into some of these buildings. Some of these buildings are owned by owners.
And we know the names of the owners, and they are not the same name as my name.
No. And as long as they continue to pay the property taxes on it, the city cannot bother them.
That's correct.
That's the problem.
That is the huge problem. So I looked into that, me and my curious mind. I looked, because I was walking down a block. I told my wife, I said, it makes me cry to see all these empty, vacant places, blocks and blocks of them. So I call the realtor and say, hey, I'm looking to buy one of these buildings. You can't. Huh. Well, who owns this? Well, that's private information. I'm like, okay. So I did some digging. A lot of names are on there are white names. And I'm like, well, why are they holding on to this? Is my question. Because they know that gentrification is going to come and they're going to clean house. So right now, they're allowing Baltimore to keep killing each other until there's a little less more blacks, and here they come. That's my thought. That's my own personal thought. I haven't talked to anyone, but that is my thinking.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. And this has been coming a long time. This is just not happening. The gentrification has been in the process for a long time. They didn't just decide to shut down these projects and send them out to Howard County and all these places. No. That's been making in the making for a long time. It's just happening now. So, there's a lot of buildings that I've run across that I've contacted, and when I got the answer, when I looked at the names, I'm like, okay, now I see what's happening.
Yeah,
I see what's happening. But they have this vacant to value program that I'm checking into now. I'm really digging into, because I need to find out how this vacant to value actually works, or how this is actually going to help the community. Because you're supposed to be able to purchase properties through this vacant to value to bring up the community.
This is what Mayor Scott was proposing, right?
It actually started right before him. The mayor before him had started vacant to value. Now he may be pushing it because it's been sitting quietly for a while. But I've been hearing Mayor Scott talk about it more now that he's been in office. So maybe he's pushing it more than the last mayor was. But it's been around for a minute. I just don't see any movement. You know, when I ask people about, okay, what about this Making the Value program? They're like, don't fool with that. Don't mess with that. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. Why? Why not? How come?
What? Because I know it when I read into it, it says you have to have $10,000 of your own money. And then it's supposed to be you have to have a person a contractor that is licensed, and there's a whole spiel on they have to be have their own license and then insurance. So there's a whole background on this. But I need to check into it because I need to find out if that's the case. What is the city offering you? If you're putting up $10,000 and you have a contractor that's licensed, what is the city offering you to take this property off of their hands? Because if that's the case, let's do this. Because I need buildings. We got young women who be housing. We have so many buildings. I don't even understand how we have homeless. So that's crazy. And we got a whole warehouse district downtown that's vacant. What are we doing with that? Oh, I know what y'all doing.
Yes.
Y'all know exactly what you're doing.
Yep.
You waiting.
Yep.
Waiting and holding it.
And it's 13, it's like 14 stories tall. Empty as a shell.
Come on, we got to do better. We got to do, but everything is timed and it's planned, it's strategic.
Who's your representative? Who's your delegate down there where you are?
I have Sharon Green Middleton.
Okay.
Yeah. Councilwoman Sharon Green Middleton.
And have you been in contact with?
Oh yeah. We are in contact. I can call Mrs. Middleton and we can have conversation. Yeah. And she does walkthroughs, community walkthroughs. I have nothing bad to say about Sharon Green Middleton. She's been around here for a while. Mm-hmm. She's been a councilwoman for my area for a while. As a matter of fact, when we did our opening, she actually came.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, she came to our opening. So she's very involved in our community and she's very accessible. So yeah, some people don't have that luxury, but I do. Because you call her, she'll get to you. She'll definitely, and her staff is great. Yeah.
Young women, young men who are in prison, you are working on that too, teaching them. Right. Talk about that.
So I started pivoting the supportive services for Anetrice House, life coach, the group sessions, the financial literacy, and God put that on my heart because I kept saying, we just built a brand new jail a couple of years back on Greenmount Avenue for juveniles. I'm like, so this was going to fill up.
Yeah.
They're looking for a third one. But if they're not being taught anything in the system, then we're failing them. We're just housing them.
Wait a minute. It's built for money. They built that to make money. So they're not failing. They're succeeding.
They are. But they are. But
we're not.
They aren't us.
Right.
So, I need for us.
Okay, because you do have to make the distinction.
Yes.
Because people say, well, they built a brand new prison. Why did they do that? We didn't need it. No, they built it because they're going to make money off of by the crimes they keep putting away. Because we know how many black boys and girls go to jail from high school.
Right. And that's at 18. Those two facilities, Gate Street and Greenmount Avenue, are only to 18. Right. And on your 18th birthday, you now become a new member of the big boy jail. So, if we don't stop that from happening, that recidivism is terrible. We got to do better. I mean, we can't just keep sitting around talking about the white man and the white man. Yeah. That thing drives me nuts.
Nope.
But what are you doing in your home to help your children and keeping them out of the system? Because they got a lot of time on their hands.
Well, we know they're not doing because they haven't been taught. 12 to 15-year-old people are getting pregnant. We're having this. We see it. We feel it. We
Right.
cry over it. We pray over it. We meditate over it. And yet we go out every day to try to make a difference. And so I'm so blessed that you get up every day and you're able to raise your hand and raise your head.
Amen. Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't. I tell people, you don't get into this line of work to make money.
No.
This is not about money.
No. It's about service.
It's definitely about service.
How can people contact you for Anetrice House? Please give that. Anetricehouse.org, right?
It's our website,
Yeah.
and that's ANETRICE house.org. My phone number is 443-432-5118. Hit me up, call me. If you need me to do something, you want to talk to me about your daughter, hit me, just call me. Because if I can't help you,
I'll find someone who can.
Right. I know somebody that can. So we can, let's together, let's get this work done. But I need for people to understand that mental health is real.
Yes.
And no matter how you may feel about telling people your business, and therapy is admitting that something is wrong, something is wrong. And something has been wrong for centuries. So I need for us to understand the importance to go to therapy. And if you have medical assistance, they pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Let them pay for you to get right now, because the generations coming behind us, if we don't straighten this out now, we are doomed.
I'm actually convinced, and I've said this on my other shows, that if Black people and brown people do not have a therapist, you are not well.
You are not well.
And the reason why I say that with such conviction is because I want someone to go check you out and say, nope, you are good. Have someone else let you know that, thank you for coming to me, but you're good. You got a couple things you need to work on, but no, you're pretty good. Because if you haven't done that, you are not truly committed to yourself of living. I'm just...
And you're passing on
Yep.
bad generational information.
Mm-hmm.
We have got to learn financial literacy, and this is the last thing we do. We got to do better with our money. We have to do better with our money. We have to do better with our money. Stop spending $200 on Jordans and you can't read.
If we don't correct the money issue, a friend of mine, Dr. George Frazier, who I talked to and had on my show for several times, he has said we're heading towards a second slavery by 2040.
I believe it.
And the second slavery is economics slave.
Yep. I'm definitely going to pass on. So I'm in the process now of planning a financial literacy course that's starting at age 13. We're breaking it down into 3 groups, 13 to 25. And I chose 13 because if they go and get a traditional job working for the state, city, whoever, they got to work 30 years for retirement. So that gives them 43 to be retiring. They need to learn early, when you get this money, who pay yourself first, break your bills down, how to save.
Yeah.
Retirement is so important to plan early. You cannot depend on the job's 401k. You need to have another backup plan for that. So those are things that they have to learn early. And we're doing 13 to 25, 26 to 40, and 41 and over. The 41 and over, we're addressing the house. What is that called? When they reverse mortgages.
Yep.
Because I run into so many seniors and they make me laugh because they're like a bunch of teenagers. They get in a huddle, they have a conversation, and giving each other bad information and calling the facts. So we have somebody coming out to teach them the truth, facts on reverse mortgages, because you need to let your generation know that you're not leaving them that house.
Right.
They need to understand that when you sign those papers, the house is yours while you're in it, but once you're gone, it's gone. So it's we have to do this now. We have to do this now. We got to forgive. We got to forgive our people who we feel have wronged us. We have so much work to do, but it has to be done now. We got to stop passing
Trauma.
generation curses on to these children.
We've called it curses, but it's trauma.
It is trauma.
It's trauma. And we can heal the trauma. But you have to open up your mouth, right? You have to say something, because if I tap you on the shoulder at the supermarket, at Winn-Dixie or whatever public, and I ask you, are you good? You better say, yep, I go see my therapist, I do this, I do this. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, I'm okay. No, nope, because you're not. Because you're not.
You're not. You're not. You already know you're not good because you said you're okay.
Right.
We have to do better. And we know we can. You ain't still born with right and wrong.
Right.
You know. You don't want to do anything, because, and I'm not saying that rehashing that pain may not hurt.
It hurts.
But you won't move forward if you don't rehash it and get over it.
Transition is painful. That's why babies cry when they come out. The transition is painful.
Yes.
The butterfly, they did a stimulus check on a butterfly when it goes from its chrysalis stage to its butterfly. It's in so much pain for that transition. But to transition is painful.
Birth is real. Absolutely.
I'm going to let you go because you have work to do. But thank you for coming on Bridges Live with me. I appreciate it. I know that we'll allow work to do, and I hope people get some information from this. I hope people get some understanding from this, and I hope people take some action for this.
And I want them to go to our website. Please take a look at our website, because we are in a battle with the Title IX that is governing public colleges, and they have got to do better with the Title IX.
Talk to me about it.
So Title IX governs women's safety.
Okay.
Women athletes, and it comes from the Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
And then it was redacted in June 23rd, 1972. So nothing else has been done to it since 1972. So you know it's antiquated. And if a young woman, I'm gonna give you this as an example. If a young woman is in college on a scholarship,
okay,
she gets pregnant.
Okay.
She decides to have her baby. She loses her scholarship and her housing, which means 9 times out of 10, she's not going to finish her education, and she's going to end up on the system.
Correct.
Why? 9 times out of 10, she's pregnant by a boy in the same sport that she's in, or whatever that she's in.
Or one of the professors.
Or one of them too. But she got pregnant right there at home on that dorm. So women are still we're still not being protected in the college environment. And I'll be only in the Title IX only covers public college. Private colleges can do what they want to do.
That's why people can't get charged for rape in private colleges.
Because they're not governed under the Title IX.
That's why these athletes who do this dirty stuff with these girls never, ever, get in trouble. Period.
Because the girl's not being protected under that Title IX. Just like the NCAA girls, if they had not put that video out on how they were being treated during this tournament, nobody would have known the treatment they were given. Their Title IX has been violated. Because they're supposed to be protected and given the same services as the boys, and they're not.
And they're not.
We still, in 2021, are not being protected. We still don't have the same opportunities. It's got to change. It's got to change.
Okay. Do you think it's done on purpose? And I think it is. What do they get out of it for not protecting the women? What is what would they get out of it? And that's something, if we could figure that out, if anyone hears this and thinks of this and they want to inbox me, please, because when the reason why education's bad in America is because they want it bad. They want you to dumb yourself down so you do not have a comprehensive way of communicating, so you depend on me as the leader of government, right? So we understand why education's bad. That's no secret. But when you're not protecting women, what are they getting out of it? Is it because the most women in that would have anything to do with Title IX are Black and brown women, and we know they're the keepers of the Black house? So a Black man cannot defend or depend on you because you're also broken. So is that this ship that they've built? We'll arrest your men and we won't protect the women. We got you.
Right. And look at the people who are usually the perpetrators of those violations.
Yes.
They're usually their big athlete.
Yeah.
They definitely don't want him to go down.
No.
They need him.
Because he works for us.
He works for them. Absolutely.
He's our product.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron said it. This is modern day slavery. This is the new plantation. You working for us.
We got to do better. And that's exactly why we have an attorney that has come on board, that has checked out this Title IX. Mm-hmm. And she's looked at the cases that we've talked to her about of girls who have been removed from school or have gone through some type of violation of that Title IX. You have a case. And from 1972 to 2021, that's a lot of women. That's a lot of women. And it's time for us to stop sitting back quietly and allowing this to happen. If we don't do it now, we are constantly failing the generations behind us. And there's only public colleges, not private.
Right.
Right. We know who go to public college.
Yep.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. We know who go to public college. So let's get real and get real fast, because what we are doing is constantly turning a blind eye to reality. We can't keep allowing our girls to go and have abortions to hide traumas that's happening to them. And now they're walking around with this pain in their heart and raising children. We got to stop. Just stop. We got an attorney. She's waiting on us. And that's exactly what my video says that I put out on my webpage. We have got to stop. Now is the time. We have an attorney standing by willing to fight with us to get this Title IX amended. They have to protect us. These things are happening on their colleges, on their watch.
With that, I'm closing the shop today, right now. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Ms. Robyn, for visiting with me. Hold on, I'm going to shut everyone off. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Bridges Live. I'm Dr. Paul. You can catch me on all your podcast channels, all that you want. Just type in Bridges Live with Dr. Paul Dyer. Thank you so much.